Hello everybody, this is Gakonga, the coach and the pioneer of Kenyan Football Vision, and welcome back to this channel. I know I have not posted a video for some time because I was at the ground dealing with issues of Kenyan football and doing what is necessary, what need to be done so Kenyan football can be liberated, Kenyan football can experience a mega revolution. I was working on the ground a period of like 6 months non-stop, and a lot has been achieved, and we yet to talk about those achievements. But those who have been following media and what was happening in parliament, I think you are already aware of the achievements that have already been basically achieved, what has been achieved. Now, today, I want to talk about Kenya Premier League sponsorships or sponsorship deals. Kenyan Premier League is a poor league, and the poverty within Kenyan Premier League is a worrying trend. This is because Kenyan Premier League clubs need to sort their economic aspect. They need to sort their commercial aspect. The deals that they have been getting are very bad, they are very poor, and the deals are far too long. 7 years deal, 5-year deal. A good deal should last 2 to 3 years, and a new deal will be established then, because things change and leagues gain value. But these deals that Kenyan Premier League clubs have been getting, 7-year deal, it's very, very long time, and it shows you that this Kenyan Premier League lacks focus when it comes to commercialization and when it comes to the economic aspect of the Kenyan Premier League. I want to talk about the 2020 StarTime deal, for broadcasting deal for Kenyan Premier League. It was signed in the year 2020, and by the year 2021, StarTime had already cancelled that deal and had exited the Kenyan Premier League sponsorship deal. Now, that deal was for 7 years, and the clubs in Kenyan Premier League were to get 104 million per year in sponsorship for 7 years. Now, if you look at that, 104 million Kenya shilling divided by 20 clubs, that's roughly 5 million Kenya shilling, per club per year. Please think about that. It is even less than 5 million Kenya shilling per year. Now divide that by 12 months. You will see. How can a club survive with the 5 million Kenya shilling per year? This tells you one thing. When sponsors come to sponsor Kenyan Premier League clubs, they know there is no value. Therefore, they give very little sponsorship money. Now, look at the current deal with Azam TV. So StarTime came in the year 2020, and by the year 2021, StarTime had already left. Now, in this year, 2023, Azam TV came on board, and they have sponsored the Premier League currently for 7 years broadcasting deal, and the money is 100 million per year. We are back to valueless sponsorship deals again. Now divide 100 million Kenya shillings by 20 clubs. You will come to find out that it is 5 million Kenya shillings per year. If you divide 500 million Kenya shillings by 12 months, you will find that these clubs again will have nothing to run themselves, because the main income for clubs across the world is usually from broadcasting sponsorship. But the Kenyan Premier League clubs, they lack value. The Kenyan Premier League itself lacks value, and that's where the story is. So what can they do? The Kenyan Premier League clubs have to now focus on value addition. And what should they do to add themselves value? They have been in existence for far too long, and they continue to become valueless. Players within Kenyan Premier League are sold less than the price of a dairy cow. This is a disaster, and it has been there for far too long. So the Premier League clubs, together as a league, they need to have a proper economic blueprint for the Premier League. And the first thing they must do, they must exit from FKF. They must cease being called FKF Premier League. FKF is worse than the Kenyan Premier League. So the association between FKF and the Premier League in the name is a very bad idea. Kenyan Premier League should remain Kenyan Premier League no matter what. And that will start to increase the value of the Kenyan Premier League. Second, they need to have women teams. They also need to have youth system. All the clubs should have the youth system so that a sponsor can see the future. Yeah. So when the current players retire and they become old and they retire, a sponsor need to see the value. Who is next? Who's the next Kahata? Who is the next Olunga? Sponsors want to see this, and that will increase the value of the clubs and the value of the Kenyan Premier League. All across board, they should have full academy system for young players. Okay, from the age of 9 to the age of 18, progressing to 21 and to the senior teams. That will create a huge value for the Kenyan Premier League system. Now, many clubs in Kenya, they share grounds, meaning that they lack home ground. And you know, most fans enjoy going to home grounds. Even in the UK, when a game is played at the home ground, so many fans do come. When it's being played away, only few fans who do go to those away games. Therefore, each club need to focus on having its own home ground. Even the colors will tell you this is a home ground. Now, when most clubs are playing in one common ground, Nyayo Stadium or Kasarani, the colors of the stadium cannot reflect the club colors. The club cannot have its merchandise system within the club. For example, the restaurants, the shops, the cafes and everything. They need to have a number of shops and the club shop within there. But if it's in Kasarani and if it's in Nyayo Stadium where stadiums are shared, how can the club then establish their merchandise system to sell their goods so that they can earn more money? It is impossible. So that's why I'm saying Kenyan Premier League need to have a serious economic blueprint and to progress forward. This is going to create a lot of value, and the sponsorship deals are going to shoot up. Yeah. Now, YouTube channels for each club, website for each club, indicating what the club is doing, how the showing game highlights in their own YouTube channels, and the website showing everything that the club is about, everything about the club management. And then the clubs must professionalize their way of running their business, their way of coaching. Most clubs in Kenya are run kijomba. Kijomba means it's like with no system. Very few even Premier League clubs have proper system of managing a club, like a proper business. Yeah. So these things I'm talking about, they are very key, and this is what clubs like in Europe focus on, so that the club can become very valuable, the league can become very valuable. So today I just wanted to focus on those issues of adding value to the Premier League and adding value to the clubs themselves. A good system of the Premier League, a good system of the clubs will actually create a very huge value, and fans must be number one. Clubs must recruit thousands and thousands of fans. And how are they going to do that if they continue to play on these shared grounds, Nyayo Stadium and Kasarani Stadium? This tells you a league system, a Premier League without a future. Every time there is FKF elections, I hear promise about making the youth league system, making the clubs be able to sustain themselves. But these normally are hot air and promises that never work out. It is the time now that the clubs themselves and the league itself must focus on its own business aspect. And number one step, Kenyan Premier League must cease from being called FKF Premier League. I leave you in peace. I'm gone.